Said, I'm so glad you took the time to come this morning. It means a lot to the program to have your very valuable advice. We have students, past students who are now successful, and then we have successful business members and members of the college. So I really appreciate you guys being here. So on your agenda, the first thing is to, item number 2 is to review the Southwest Texas Technical Program Advisory Committee guidelines.
And the guidelines, I believe, are within your agenda programming. So, effective use of the advisory committee. Institutions must establish an industry-based advisory committee for each workforce education program. Advisory committees may be organized by cluster as long as each program is reviewed. The committee has the necessary expertise and ample time is allotted for each program. The role of an advisory committee is to, 1, help a college document the need for a workforce education program, and 2, ensure that the program has adequate resources and a well-designed curriculum to provide students with the knowledge, skills, and abilities essential for employment. The advisory committee is one of the principal means of ensuring meaningful participation in program creation and revision. The functions of the advisory committee. Advisory committees perform the following functions. 1, evaluating the goals and objectives of the program curriculum. 2, establishing workplace competencies for the program's occupation. 3, suggesting program revisions as needed. 4, evaluating the adequacy of existing college facilities and equipment. 5, advising college personnel on the selection and acquisition of new equipment. 6, identifying local business and industry leaders who will provide students with external learning experiences, employment, and placement opportunities. 7, assisting in the professional development of the faculty. 8, assisting in promoting and publicizing the program to the community and business and industry. 9, representing the needs of students from special populations as defined in Perkins 5. Advisory committee composition. Advisory committees must be composed of persons who broadly represent the demographics, including ethnic and gender diversity of the institution's service area, as well as the occupational field in all sectors of the business community within the institution's service area. Members should be well informed about the knowledge, skills, and abilities required for the occupation for which they are providing information and guidance. Full-time faculty and staff of the college may not be members of the advisory committee, but they may serve in a non-voting ex officio capacity. Part-time faculty who hold full-time positions within the career field may be members of the committee. Faculty and staff of senior institutions with program articulation agreements may be members of the committee. Advisory committee meetings and minutes. Advisory committees of existing programs must meet in real time, either in person or virtually, a minimum of 1 time a year, and should have a quorum present. Additionally, committee members should be kept apprised of the program's performance throughout the year. During the development of new programs, advisory committees must meet in real time, either in person or virtually, at least twice prior to submission of the program and communicate throughout the program development and approval process. All meetings of an advisory committee must be recorded in official minutes. The minutes must include the following information. 1, identification of committee members, name, title, and affiliation. 2, indication of committee members' presence or absence from the meeting. 3, the names and titles of others present at the meeting. 4, the signature of the recorder. And 5, evidence that the industry partners have taken an active role in making decisions that affect the program as outlined in section B2A above. Minutes must be maintained by the institution and made available to the THECB staff upon request. See Figure 3.1 for sample advisory meeting record template at the end of this chapter. So we are so thankful to have all of you here again, and generous for your big contributions and support of the business management program.
Then, item 3, Ms. Miranda.
So item 3 is reading and approval of minutes. I don't know if you all had an opportunity to read the minutes prior to our meeting today, but if not, I'll give us all a few minutes to kind of briefly look them over and see if there's any corrections that you'd like to make to them. I, for one, saw none, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any. So I'll give everyone a few minutes to just browse over them in case you didn't get an opportunity to do so. Okay, if there's no objections, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, good, thank you. Oh, yes, you were just.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda, item number 4, is a review of technical programs dashboard. Ms. Barnett.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it says sharing.
Down to the dashboard. These are some long minutes. Okay, so this is the dashboard. We mentioned it in our last meeting that we've changed the way we keep statistics. Anytime you do that, sometimes we've had a little bit of problem with criteria and setting, how to collect the data. So some of the data may not agree with last year's data, and we're in the process of trying to match those up. But our program from last year did show that our enrollment got well below this 19. So this 19 is generous. And so we have grown. In 2022, our enrollment was 35. In 2023-24, it was at 61. And now in 2024-25, we're at 73. So our success coaches have worked really hard. We've been recruiting. I appreciate everybody's hard work and getting the knowledge out about the program and everything. Of this number, again, I think it may be counting some of the high school students who aren't actually enrolled in this program, but we have 38 associate's degree path. We have 25 basic level 1, 1 advanced, and 1 associate's of management skills. Management program previously was just called management, and we changed the name of the program a couple of years ago. Oops. There we go. Better with the mouse than I am with reaching up there. So this is gender. So you can see that when we're reading that we do have more females than we do males. We have 56% female and 44% male. So race and ethnicity, we're 86% Hispanic, 11% white, and then other. Any questions so far? Pell recipiency, we have 28% Pell recipiency, and the other are not. 72% are not Pell recipiency. And then course completion. So we have 38% that have successfully completed this is all the courses, have completed their courses. 34% are in progress and 28% not successfully completed. And of course, we're trying to work on bringing that down, finding out why, do we need tutoring? I know accounting is a difficult area for some students, and we've worked at getting maybe a lot of business classes, we don't have a tutor for those. We do have a new Pear Deck tutoring that the students have access to. But I'd love to get some more tutors into the student success centers for accounting and business.
So I wonder if, on that non-successful, not successfully completed, does that include students that are maybe part-time students that are currently taking courses, or is it specifically students who just have not?
That means that they didn't pass the classes.
Okay.
To which, we try to have at least over, my minimum is 70% pass rate. And I try to stay actually closer to 85% pass rate. So that's within the range, but you still like to see that a lot lower. You want them to be successful, and you want to give them all the resources they need to be successful.
So I heard you specifically mention accounting. Is that pretty much the course that kind of is a challenge for most of our students?
Well, Bonnie sent me some information. I don't have access to studios yet, and so we're in the progress of getting me approved. But we have 18 students who are only 3 classes away from graduating, either with an AAS or a certificate. And I would like to know which courses, that they are having issues with. So, but I suspect accounting. And we'll bring that up later in the meeting. We had an email vote about the accounting barrier last spring. But I'll go ahead and bring that up again. So yes, I suspect, but I want to get approved. So as soon as I get a studious and I'm able to go through those classes, I'll know a little bit more. Great question, though. Okay, so program outcomes. Persistence. Now, persistence is fall to fall. So we had 54%, this is in 2022, 2023. We had not persistent 54 and persistent 46. And then last year, we went from the 46% to 56%. So we're still not perfect. And so that means that they came back from fall to fall. So they kept the program. We do have a 1-year program. So sometimes the measurements that they use don't exactly coincide with what the technical programs are doing. But we did have a 10% increase, or we went from 46% to 56%. So that's a great improvement, I feel like. Now, with retention, that is from fall to spring. Let me see if I can. So from fall to spring, not retained in 2022 was 57%, and retained was 43%. We didn't make as much of an improvement this year as we did for the persistence, but we did have a 1% increase. We came on back up to 44% retained. So any questions on that? Graduation count. So this is, we're doing what we call strategic plan initiatives right now, and this was one of those things, is to get more people towards graduation. Now, this past semester, we did have 2 graduate with their associate's degree in business management, 1 international certificate, and then we had an associate's degree, but there's some mix up with financial. One of his classes, financial aid didn't cover, but he took the class, so we're in the midst, so we did have 1 more associates on there. Now, this is kind of a lagging indicator too of how well, you've got to remember those earlier years, 2021, our enrollment did get really low. If you look back at the advisory committee meeting last year, it said actually the enrollment in those years was 4. So when it got down to the lowest. So I'm hoping to bring this up. I already know of several students that are graduating in the term this year. So it is on our radar. I mean, we want the students to get a certificate or degree in their hand. So any questions about the dashboard? Okay. I just put the catalog pages in just so everyone would be familiar with what the program is now before we start talking about changes to the program. Okay, so we have our 1-year certificate that is 25 hours. The first semester is principles of management, personal finance, business principles, and principles of accounting. And then the second spring semester is supervision, computerized accounting. They can take computerized accounting or spreadsheets, business management, or business computer applications. This should be 12. This is one of the corrections. Anyway, the total hours for this certificate are 25. We will be trying to, we voted on an occupational skills award last spring. We do need to fit that into this, so we're going to be needing to rearrange some classes. And also this accounting 2401, I'm going to try, I'm going to show you some research that lets you know that there's an option for that, possibly for this level 1 certificate at least. Maybe not in the associate's degree, but in the level 1. Now the level 2 certificate is marketing, leadership, organizational behavior, ethics, human resources, problem solving, and co-op. It's an additional 20 hours. I always thought this needed to be worded a little bit different. It's total 45 hours for the certificate. Okay. So any questions? Okay. And then our associate's degree. We do have certain core classes that the students have to have for an associate's degree. And then their first year is very similar to the level 1 basic. Their second year is very similar to the advanced with some of those basics added in, and then they have some summer requirements. And then we have some technical electives. When Armando and I were going over this, we were looking in the program, and actually there's no room to fit those electives. So we'll be asking you to vote on changing some of these courses to electives so they can fit in the Occupational Skills Award for International Management. So they don't have to come back and take those additional. They will count towards their associates if that's the path they're choosing. It just gives a little bit more flexibility to students to take a different path if they want to and to kind of specialize. So any questions?
It'll also make it so that the students who are trying to pursue a field of study, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a set of courses that are going to be guaranteed to be accepted by a specific university throughout the state of Texas. So by doing that, by changing those courses, and Twyla will let us know a little bit, but by changing those courses to electives, students will be able to complete that field of study and then be able to leave as well, and leave the BMGT program with the field of study as well. At least that's the goal.
And these are, we have some electives, but right now we don't have, the way our program is, we don't have anywhere
To build
fit
them
them
in.
in. So that's what I'll be proposing in a little while as we move forward. So you guys have our flyer. I want to, yeah, it's in your package. Our flyer, we will be adding the Occupational Skills Awards to the flyer. They're not, we need to make some changes before we get them approved through the final approval before they go into the catalog. So it basically, this is what we give students, or we hand out at recruiting events to let them know 25 hours for the business management with an option QuickBooks certification or Excel certification. The advanced certificate is 45 hours. Both of these are TSI exempt, which is attractive to a lot of students who just want to go ahead and get started and they haven't passed that TSI yet. Hopefully they'll, through their education, they'll eventually be able to pass that TSI. or come to some TSI, get some TSI resources to help them. And then the associate's degree is 60 hours. And on this flyer, we also list our success coaches so that they have that phone number or that email address right there. So any questions about the flyers or any suggestions about adding anything?
I think, are we gonna, once we get those OSA options and field of study in place, are we gonna add that on to the flyer so that the students are aware?
Yes, we could, and I guess we could even make it front and back if we need to. I was trying to, so that way, or even make it like a fold in.
Right, yeah, a
Be a
little
little bit more
pamphlet.
artistic. It seems like it's easier to hand out if you've got a trifold. Yeah, trifold, thank
We
you.
need some graphics.
Oh, okay, and some graphics. Okay, great, okay. Great suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to get with our marketing department and see how they can help me.
That was gonna be my next move, contact marketing. They'll be able to build.
So, speaker series. Shanalee brought up at the previous meeting that her son in college really enjoys the speakers. And so last year it was a little bit late to get it added in on time. So this year I was ready to get it started, but Armando said we really need to run it, to put it in the curriculum for the class before we start so that they know that they're going to need to come to some of those speakers series. Maybe not all of them, but at least a few that they're interested in. So I'm going to Monday or Wednesday at 1:30, and then some Tuesday or Thursday mornings. So some of the length of time, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. What do you guys think about that time? Do you think that's?
Yeah.
We're going to be recruiting speakers. So if you know of anybody, just let me know. Ms. Randa had already mentioned some people before, and so so we'll be recruiting. Let me know. We'll also try to work with them when they are available. And we welcome volunteer speakers and referrals. Please let us know. Okay. Any questions on? I don't think this is really an action item. Just kind of an update.
I'm interested in knowing how to make it a requirement for the students. How will that count towards their curriculum?
Okay, it'll actually just be a requirement for the class.
Okay.
And maybe we'll most likely need to have some options like we'll be on Zoom and then record it, and they can watch the recording too. They just can't make it because we do have some students who are just online, strictly online. That's a great question.
Yeah.
What's your percentage of people that are online only?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Majority of them, because some of the classes are only offered online.
Yeah.
And a lot of our students that I know of, they work during the day, so they can only do the online portion. So I would
There
say
are-
about half of what.
Yeah, they have the courses that they are taking online. I know Ms. Twyla has a student that we just discussed earlier who is wanting that face-to-face option but cannot be fully face-to-face all the time. And so there's options, we work with students to kind of help them to fit their needs.
Trying to be a little flexible. Because online is hard, and as the program grows, before, we wanted, online was the priority. We wanted to make sure that was available. But as the program grows, also, we're looking into having face-to-face classes for some of those classes that had, like the business management class this year was rather large, so we're looking at having that face-to-face and online. Accounting is face-to-face. Several of the others have face-to-face, but most of the electives that you'll see are like organizational behavior, small business management. So far, they've just only been online.
Did you say accounting was face-to-face only or online?
No, it's both. We have an online instructor and then we have a face-to-face.
I think that's the one, if that's the one that's a challenge, I'm wondering if the ones that are not being successful are online.
That's a good question.
And I guess that's one of the
Okay.
reasons I was asking about that, the rating earlier was, okay, is it our part-time, because not everybody can come to full-time. Who is in that context, so that possibility of reaching out to them and saying, what other options can we have? I know right now the college is working to obtain a program, a scheduling program that's going to help us to kind of start reviewing where we're missing and how to get in there. And the other thing that kind of plays a part on the online or in face-to-face is availability of instructors. And so it's hard to come by, you've got to pull or to find somebody who wants to come in and instruct versus being out in the field with theirs.
What I always offer to the students is because when they come in, if they have never taken an accounting class, I suggest they do that one in person. If they've never taken accounting before, they're not sure, that is a course that you should do in person.
It's Barnett.
But you always have the ones that are like, no, I can only do online. And those are the ones that you're gonna see that don't.
Yeah, because accounting is definitely, like you say, especially if you've never taken it, it's definitely a face-to-face class, and so in the face-to-face classes, is there a blend of two-way interactive available at that time for someone who can't drive in? You're conducting your face-to-face, but there's people out there that can, no?
So those are going to be specific. Right now, it would be specifically geared toward individual basis. If there's a circumstance or something that needs to be assessed that way, there were hybrid options in the past. Obviously, during COVID and stuff, we did pull back from the hybrid options because they didn't seem to be producing at the rate that we possibly thought. And so we're trying to get back a lot of the face-to-face options, but we do work with students that have other, issues that come up in the middle of the course, or maybe they're not able to fully be there 100% of the days. We would like to give options for them to complete.
Yeah, right now, we have like the home base for the accounting classes is here in Del Rio, but we have classes in Uvalde and Eagle Pass in Crystal City. We offer them in Pearson and Hondo. And I do, I can hear them ask questions. They help, in fact, I call on them to answer questions, as we work accounting problems together. So there is that interaction. It's just that I'm not physically on the campus.
Yeah, and that'll be geared towards the distance learning students.
Mm-hmm. So, but they still have to drive in. So.
And so I think that's a lot to consider in offering those flexibilities. I think from the side when we are receiving the students into the workplace, we continue to really notice the soft skills missing. And so I think for their future success, the more the success coaches can guide them towards in-person learning, the better prepared they are to come into the actual work environment, because we are really struggling with that in our training department and how we prepare them to be successful at the bank, because they just don't have those skills anymore. And the generation from COVID on are really at a disadvantage in our hiring situations because they are so used to an online environment, and we deal with people in person. And so I think that really helps them be more successful after they leave the program, when they have been encouraged to be in person.
It helps develop those soft skills.
Because that's truly the interview is going to be very helpful in putting you in an advantage to be hired for a position.
And I think
we definitely need to reconsider making more of those classes available, the ones that we can, a face-to-face option and an online option.
we can look at further options as well, as far as maybe bringing something for the students to attend outside of classes, just to even kind of build those soft skills. Because it is a huge, it's everywhere now. A lot of these, especially given the COVID and the students that were used to face-to-face, they don't know how to pick up the phone and answer correctly. They don't know how to address a person. So it's a lot of teaching behind it.
Okay, so new business, item 3, this will require a vote. The Leadership Occupational Skills Award, we did approved this last year. However, there was more research done on occupational skills awards. They basically need to be done in the same semester. And the best semester for us would be that, for the leadership occupational skills award, would be that first semester of the certificate one. So we're going to request to modify the requirements to, you'll see it highlighted in yellow what will be going into the catalog. So we voted on supervision, business principles, and leadership. There was a co-op on this, but co-op, we wanted an award that we could get into students' hands right away, you know. So we want to propose dropping the co-op class so we can get it into one semester and leaving the supervision, business principles, and leadership. So in order to do that, the modifications to award will benefit students making it available in the fall semester one of enrollment. This might be attractive for high schools, also for other workforce training. It will also possibly make the award attractive to high schools. So the MGT 1301 and the USI 1301 are already offered in some high schools. So approval needed to modify the current catalog sequence of classes. We'll move BMG 2309 leadership to fall one. It's in fall one of the second semester now. And we'll move the BMG 1327 to business management spring one. We'll move the USI 1307 personal finance to fall semester. Basically, we're just changing it with the leadership class. And we'll need to remove the EMD 1282 co-op from the requirement.
And one of the things that we're also aiming to do with the OSA, like Twyla said, is to make our students more marketable. So whenever a student finishes their certificate level one, they're not only going to walk out with a certificate in the spring, they'll also walk out with that occupational skills award in leadership, which they will have attained in the fall. So again, this would make our students more marketable to the workforce.
And hopefully it'll bring a little bit of that soft skills back into that first semester so that they can start learning and going through with the rest of it.
So, maybe I missed it, but removing BMGT 1282 was replaced by something or not?
No, yeah. So
It's
we'll move from an 11-hour OSA to only requires 9 hours.
Okay.
I mean, it's still going to be required for the advanced certificate,
Right.
but it won't be required for this occupational skills award.
And so we'll just need motions and votes.
And also, further on in your packet, I do have the restructure plans that might give you a clearer picture of the page that looks like this, you know, what it will look like after modification.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions on that leadership occupational skills award changes or any questions or recommendations or comments?
Ms. Maria, I have a question. So the introduction to international business and trade, is that course coming back?
It is coming
So
back.
I took it by myself
Yes.
in December, which that's the only person that
Yeah. She did that, we gave her a class, because the way it used to be, to get that international business certificate, you had to have your associate's degree and then come back. And a lot of students were leaving that were interested in international business, but they had to come back to get it after the associates. And a lot of times they've got their associates, they want to move on to their bachelor's degree. So Dana came back, and we gave her special classes. We made special arrangement classes because she only lacked one class having it. And so now we're wanting, and we'll have a sheet on it also. We're going to try to move it into the second semester for those who want to, as an elective.
Okay, yes, because by the time I graduated, there was few students that graduated with me within that term, and because COVID and everything that was going on, so like it stopped. So I mean, I continue with my career, getting to my bachelor's. So as soon as I find out that that we're making an exception to do the program, I try to get a hold of the other students that graduated the same year as I did. They're like, like for one thing or another, they couldn't. So I was basically the only one that took that class.
Oh,
but I mean,
okay.
it's good
But
to
there
know
is a
that
lot of interest in it.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Especially
I
the
know
area
a few
we're in.
students that graduated that got their associates, but they didn't get their certification because of that.
Yeah. So we're,
It's good to
we're
know.
wanting to lower that barrier. So we're making it where you don't have to have your associates now. We're putting it back into the curriculum as electives, so that they can go on the path. If they want to go on the international path, they can. If they want to go with other classes, they can.
Oh,
So, and when we get to the electives, then we'll.
that
Yes.
is so
Go
great.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so,
Great. Any other
now,
comments?
this will also change that level 1 certificate, though, modify it a little bit, but it'll be the same hours.
Okay, we need a motion for this, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
any other comments, any other input or questions? If there are none, do I have a motion to approve this change? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You
It
can't-
has
you can't
to be one of the
second.
committee members.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for approval of this change. Any further discussion, questions, or otherwise, any comments? None? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. There's none opposed, there's nobody on
Oh,
there.
Christie.
There's Christie, yeah,
Let me,
yeah.
I'm sure some. Christie?
Oh,
Yes,
Mr.
okay.
Mayfield joined.
Unanimous.
Oh, and
Oh.
Mr. Alejandro's there.
And Edison?
Okay,
Dr. Mora? I think he may be frozen.
okay.
Okay.
You just have to click share at the bottom.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so next, new business item 4, the international business management. So we're gonna need to make, we're gonna request to modify some courses for on the associate's degree. So this one, the other one was the year 1 and for the associates and the level 1 certificate. This one will modify courses for the associate's applied science degree. Request to modify the current courses regarding the BMG technical electives in order to make the International Business Management OSA available in the fall semester 2 of the Business Management Associate's degree. The proposal is to list Marketing 1311, Principles of Marketing, HRPO 2307, Organizational Behavior, and BMGT 1341, Business Ethics, as business management technical electives for fall semester 2 of Business Management Associates. So Marketing 1311 is already listed as a technical elective, but HRPO 2307 and BMGT 1341 will need to be added as business management technical electives. This will allow students, they can still take it the way we had it, but if they're interested in the international business route, that will open those doors up where they can change the classes out. Are there any questions?
Questions?
I make a motion for that one.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. All right, thank you. So we'll say it's unanimous for those present. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And so this is, the Occupational Skills Award remains just because you guys have approved it, but now we just may bring in the program for it. Item number 5, some other changes with Associates of Applied Science degree, curriculum and catalog. So the business management entrepreneurship is currently required spring semester year 1. So of the associate's degree, we want to change that in the associate's degree to business management technical elective. That will allow students pursuing a path in accounting and option to take accounting 2402. Before, there was no room for them to get that accounting 2402. And we do have a genuine shortage of accountants, I guess across the United States. I know in Texas they've got an accounting pipeline. The Texas Society of CPAs are offering scholarships and a lot of things for accounting students. So I'll try to get those to my accounting students if they're interested in the accounting path, because there is help in getting that accounting degree and getting CPA certification. So that's going to be an action item that we make. You want to go ahead and do all 3?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay. And then Math 1332, contemporary mathematics is currently required. We want to change that to just college level mathematics. So they can choose the type of math, And then Humanities 1301, Introduction to Humanities is currently required. I changed that to an elective in humanities.
So by changing them to electives, they have options of different math courses and different courses in the humanities.
Yes, a lot of them have taken math maybe at a college level in high school, but it doesn't exactly fit into that one. So that would make those more transferable. Or they know that the college that they're transferring out to requires a certain math, they can take that math for their career path. Good question.
Any questions on these 3 suggested changes? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. If there's no further discussions, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. We have unanimous.
Right.
Let's move on to item number 6.
Okay. And item number 6, accounting 14, ACMT 1403 option for accounting 2401 in the business management level 1 certificate. So in spring of 23, the Business Management Advisory Committee held an email vote to allow students the option of replacing accounting 2401 with the workforce training course accounting 1403. This recommendation went before the curriculum committee in May. It was decided to wait on approval until further discussion. Among the Texas Business Management Level 1 certificates that I have researched, none of them require accounting 2401. They all either require 1403 or something equivalent to that, or not even an accounting class for that level 1 certificate. And so I am requesting approval to resubmit the proposal to the curriculum committee with the research and some valid reasons why we need to get that 1403. And for students who are, you're not going to ask a first line manager to calculate depreciation. They need to know what depreciation is and a basic knowledge of how it works, but as far as creating depreciation schedules and things like that, so I want to make it a 15-week class, so it goes a little slower too. And it's one of those classes I wish that we could do face-to-face and offer online at the same time, so we could actually record the class and then the online students could see the recording. But we don't really have a structure like that right now, but I think that would really work out if we could. So accounting 1403 provides a basic understanding of financial statements, the accounting cycle, bank reconciliations, and payroll.
So that would only be for
The level 1 certificate. So, you know, and they can always take this and they can't take accounting 2401 also, if they just need that extra help, you know.
The 1403, I think, would be a better basis before 2401 as well, right?
Accounting 2401 is somewhat challenging. Basically, the 1403 is going to be the first 4 chapters of what we cover in 2401, and then plus bank reconciliations and payroll. So it's going to be leaving out about 4 chapters of what we cover. You know, it's going to be leaving out creating depreciation schedules and things like that.
Does accounting 2401 here transfer to other universities?
As far as I know, it does. I know there's been debate. I know in the past, some of our leadership has said they need both accounting 2401 and 2402 for it to transfer. They need to take both. So that's why I'm glad you guys, voted that in. Now the 14, so the 2401 is really not even transferable to some colleges. Maybe to some it is. I'm getting conflicting messages because we had a student that took it last summer that was transferring it, and her college was saying they did accept it as a standalone 2401. But the 1403 is not transferable, but that's something that the students would just be told. They'd be encouraged to take the accounting 2401, but if they're just wanting to get that level 1 basic certificate, it would give them an option and remove that barrier.
So, but does the student still have the option to take 2401 as part of this certificate if they wanted to?
Oh, yes. We're just going to make it as an option. And,
Right.
And the Success Center, the success coaches will say, it's better if you take accounting 2401, but this is an option also.
Can both be available, or it has to be one?
No, they can take both. I'm not sure how their financial aid only works for,
Yeah, the financial aid would only cover like a certain, so if you've taken a course that's similar or whatever, it will not kind of back us off on that. However, they do have the option to take one or the other. It would just be noted again through the success coaches. You have this option should you not want to do this option. And so that'll still be available. And even if they did, say take 1403 and felt, I should have taken 2401, they can always come back and take it. Now, there's always the request through financial aid to see if they'll cover it, if it's maybe something that wouldn't be, or they have the option for, payment plans and things like that.
It could be listed kind of like the second session, the spring session, where they have the option of either the spreadsheets or the computerized accounting. You might be able to put accounting 2401 or the ACNT
3 there.
for the certificate. Because financial aid will only cover a course if the course is part of the degree plan.
Right.
So you're basically choosing with replacing that if you just want the certificate, or if you're going to keep pursuing the associate's degree.
Correct.
And it may just be a few people that need that. It may not be a full class, but I still think it's important to offer it as an option, even if we don't have a full class for those students. I offer it at a slower pace, like 16 weeks.
I will say accounting as a whole is something, I've had the opportunity to sit on the Texas Bankers Association Scholarship Committee, where we review many from all kinds of universities across Texas. And accounting scores or retakes are very much, that's a common thread around there. I can also speak as a mother. Accounting is just, it's hard for students right now. And we certainly have a shortage of CPAs.
Yes, we do.
There's a lot of local opportunity in that field.
So, I try to, some students, they're really surprised once they get into it and they're doing well. They say, this is fun, I really like it. So we've got a lot coming on that are interested in it. So I'm hoping that a lot of them keep going and pursue that.
Okay, do we need a
We'll need
vote?
vote.
Okay. So, do I have a motion to accept this, this change? I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? If there are none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, let's move on to the next. We have,
Okay, that was all the items.
Yes.
And, I do want to go ahead and show you guys, this is the instructor plan, and then I've highlighted in yellow where the classes will be changing. So this, the 3 new electives here in the second year of associates, that's where the students want to do that international business certificate they can. The math here is an elective, and then in the semester 1, making that USG 2309 an elective where they can take accounting 2402 if they want to instead, just on associate in the associate program. And so, and the second page where it says that we'll need to add the VLGT 1341, business ethics, and HRPO 2307, organizational behavior, to the business management technical electives. They aren't not on it yet. So I think we went ahead and caught that when we voted, but it may not hurt to go ahead and make another motion. Add those.
okay. Okay, do I have a motion to add BMGT 1341, business ethics, and HRPO 2307, organizational behavior, to the list of technical program electives? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? If there are none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous.
And final on the agenda was just open session for discussion, open discussion. Any other suggestions for the business management program?
I just want to make a comment that I'm encouraged in the increase in enrollment. I personally feel business is applicable in every single career and even in our personal lives. And so I'm encouraged that folks are pursuing business. If they choose to change their, degree it's not going to be something that they're not going to use.
Right.
So.
They can work for so many different industries.
Absolutely.
They're not just getting stuck in one industry that might go down or.
Absolutely. So I'm encouraged with the increase of enrollment, and whoever's responsible for that, our collective team, congratulations.
Yes, our success coaches, and we've been offered a lot of recruiting events that we really appreciate, where we can go get in touch with the students and let them know that what's available and everything. So the college is attending as many of those and putting on as many as they can. And then again, our student success coaches are really.
And I think with these changes that you guys have just voted on, hopefully these changes will open up broader, more opportunity for many other students to be able to come in and say, hey.
Yeah, because I think giving them the opportunity to attain a certificate or attain, already that validates what they've done, and I think it's a positive encouragement for students once they see, oh, I've got this one now. They kind of have the I can do this, from receiving a certificate of some kind. And I also like the fact that speaker series, you and I
I'm
have spoken.
excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Mrs. Taylor brought it up.
Yeah, you and I have spoken about it, and I do have some suggestions. Actually, HEB. I'm, Greg Suquette, who just retired as vice president. I had already spoken to him and he's ready, willing, and able. You
Okay.
know, and I know Maria Martinez would be a good speaker as well from the
Yes.
local Board of Federal Credit Union. Yeah, she would be a great speaker as well, and I'm sure she'd be willing. She's very involved in this community, throughout the region, you know, she's very involved, so I know those would be two good speakers. There's also a gentleman who used to be with Union Pacific, who was one of the, you know, in the upper echelon management team. And he's since moved to Walmart to be part of their management team. And so I think he'd have a, you know, double perspective there, a very broad perspective of management, top management in two different industries. So I can get hold of him as well to be one of the speakers.
Another idea I was thinking about inviting the speakers would be stories of success. For example, you were part of the program and now you're working at BFCU, so and to inspire students where former students of the program, where are they now? And I think that would be a good way to connect with the students.
Yes,
Right.
say, you know, they're doing the same thing I'm doing and look how successful they are.
I think opening it up just out to even outside of just your students, opening it up as
Yes,
a thing
yeah.
would be just such a
Yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and make it available to
everyone.
the class and let the whole college know, you know, that we're having these speaker series.
Yeah, we can get that out and advertised and posted and look back at our marketing.
Anything else for discussion?
Then if there's no further discussion, this meeting is adjourned
Oh,
at
we need a motion.
11:38.
Wow.
You'll need a motion
Oh, yes.
for that.
Sorry. Hello.
A motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Yes. I have a motion and a second, so I'm sure there's no discussion.
All right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming. I wish you could be here. We're fixing to have family.
Yes.